Ever wonder what happens when something that seems unstoppable, like an unstoppable force, suddenly runs into, uh, resistance?
Hmm, that's a great question.
Today we're looking at Tesla.
Yeah.
They've been like the poster child for innovation, right?
Right.
But there's this article that asks if their crazy growth is maybe hitting a few bumps in the road. And we've got a chart showing how their stock has been doing recently, too.
I see.
So we're going to do a deep dive and try to figure out what might be causing this, what might be going on.
Okay.
This article doesn't mess around. Right off the bat, the headline says, "Can tumbling Tesla shrug off Musk's shocking antics?"
Wow, that's attention grabbing.
Right. It
Yeah.
really makes you think, like, is the stock going down because of what people think about Elon Musk?
It makes you wonder.
We've got this chart that shows how the stock has been moving. You see how it went up really fast for a while, but now it's kind of leveling off and even dipping in some places.
Yeah, I see that.
The article seems to say that one reason could be that, well, people are reacting to what the CEO is doing and saying. It's affecting how they feel about the company.
Okay.
But it feels like there's got to be more to the story than just that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to look at the big picture.
Yeah.
The electric vehicle market is way more competitive now than it used to be. Like all the big car companies, they're making some pretty amazing electric cars now.
Right.
And that means people have more choices.
More options than ever before.
Exactly.
So it makes sense that Tesla's feeling the heat a bit. They were like the only game in town for a long time.
Right. They were the trailblazers.
Exactly.
But now you've got these traditional car companies, and they've got something Tesla doesn't.
What's that?
They've already got those huge factories and all those dealerships everywhere.
Right.
Tesla kind of skipped over that part at first, but it might be catching up to them now.
Interesting point. And another thing, Tesla's stock price has been, well, really high for a long time, like super high. And that's partly because people were betting on Tesla growing like crazy in the future. But here's the thing. When a company has a really high stock price, any little sign that things might be slowing down can make the stock price drop a lot.
Makes sense. It's
Yeah.
like the higher you climb, the harder you fall.
Exactly. And the article points out something else, too. Tesla is really dependent on China.
Oh, right.
They sell a ton of cars there.
Yeah, a huge market for them.
Huge market, but it also means they're kind of vulnerable.
Oh, so.
Well, if something happens in China, like some political stuff or problems with the economy, Tesla could be in trouble.
I see what you mean.
It's like they're not really in control of everything that could affect their business.
Makes sense.
And we can't forget about what's happening inside Tesla. Remember how they've been cutting prices?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
On the one hand, it seems like a good way to sell more cars, right?
Yeah, seems like it would make them more competitive.
And the article says it is working. People are buying more Teslas. But there's another side to that.
What do you mean?
When you cut prices, you make less profit on each car you sell.
Right.
So even if they sell a ton more cars, it might not make up for the lower profit on each one.
Yeah, it's a tough balancing act.
And the article makes you wonder if they're cutting prices just to sell more cars or because maybe people just aren't as interested in buying Teslas as they used to be.
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
Even though they can now make even more cars than before.
Interesting.
So we've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
What's the big takeaway for you?
I think what's really interesting here is that even companies that like totally change an industry like Tesla did and grow super fast, eventually they hit a point where things slow down a bit.
Yeah.
It's like there's this push and pull between what the company does itself, like the decisions they make about leadership and prices, and then all the stuff happening in the world around them, like competition and the global economy.
Right.
And remember, just because a stock goes down after being really high, it doesn't mean the company is doomed.
Yeah.
It might just mean that the market is figuring things out, like adjusting to all the new information that's coming out.
Interesting.
This whole thing shows how important it is to look at things from lots of different angles. You can't just focus on one thing.
So just to sum things up for everyone, we've been talking about why Tesla's growth might be slowing down. We've looked at their stock performance, how much competition they're facing, how their really high stock price makes them vulnerable, how much they depend on China, and how cutting prices affects their profits.
That about covers it.
This has been super interesting.
Definitely.
Thanks for breaking it all down for us.
No problem.
Okay, now it's time for everyone listening to think about something.
All right.
We've seen what might be happening with Tesla. But what does this tell us about how companies grow in general, especially companies that really shake things up?
Okay.
Is it possible to just keep growing super fast forever? Or do things always slow down eventually, even for the best companies,
Hmm,
especially when they are no longer the ones doing the disrupting?
that's a great question.
It makes you wonder if maybe real success in business isn't about always going up, but about learning to handle those ups and downs that happen along the way.
Food for thought.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.